Welcome to the Give Back Girls podcast. I'm Toria McFadden.
And I'm Anita Cunningham. And it's our first episode of 2026. We hope all of our listeners had a wonderful holiday season.
Today, Anita and I are happy to introduce you all to Noah Tang, the founder and president of Strong Towns BloNo. Welcome, Noah.
Noah, could you get us started today with an explanation of what Strong Towns BloNo is all about?
Yeah, first off, thank you for having me here on the podcast. Strong Towns BloNo is a local chapter of the national Strong Towns movement. There's about 500 chapters across the country, but we are our own independent organization. Our whole movement is about doing the next smallest thing to improve our community. And our chapter mission statement specifically is to work to foster a vibrant, safe, and economically and environmentally sustainable and livable community through advocacy, grassroots action, and building local social capital. That's a mouthful right there.
It sure is. So can you summarize in a nutshell, what does that mean?
We are here to empower residents to bring about change in their own communities.
Okay. And what type of change are you talking about?
Our nonprofit is all about the built environment. We want to foster a community that is able to create and nourish these human connections, build human social capital is one, but I also want to make sure that we build in economic resiliency into that as well.
Okay, and when you say built environment, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it right, and that all of our listeners are understanding it. Would that be like a synonymous with just like infrastructure, or what do we mean by built environment?
Yeah, I mean, think about how the roads are laid out. Think about how the neighborhoods are built and constructed. Do you drive to work? Do you walk to work? Whatever. That is the built environment.
Okay, perfect. So the things around us that we have to interact with to go about our daily lives.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, because we know words are important, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, just to expand on that a bit, what were you seeing in our community that led you to believe we needed an organization like Strong Towns?
Yeah, so I actually got started in community activism when I was an undergrad. About 7 years ago, I helped organize the School Street Food Pantry out of a Normal First United Methodist Church. And after working with so many people, I really loved the aspect of empowering people to make changes in our own community. And my father's an architect, and I really am drawn to conversations and noticing things about problems within our built environment. And we haven't really seen an organization like that in our community that really focuses on our relationship with the place, the space around us.
Gotcha. Yeah. So did you identify problems, or are you just geared to, with your dad's influence and your background, are you just geared to find opportunities in our built environment for things being better?
Yeah, I think largely since the 1960s, the way that our built environment has been created has been very different from centuries before. I give this comparison between downtown Bloomington and new subdivisions, right? Downtown Bloomington is obviously a space that is co-created by the residents that live there over generations. It's built upon each other, whereas a subdivision is built all at once by one developer, and you don't really feel like it is your space, really, if that makes sense.
I mean, if anyone of our listeners have ever been a member of an HOA, you absolutely understand what Noah means there. It is definitely not your space.
Yes.
All right. So it feels like to me that this would be a really challenging prospect for Strong Towns to work with the built environment and how we interact with it without partnership from city officials. First of all, is that correct? And secondly, what does that partnership or engagement look like?
Yeah, when we say that our spaces are co-created, or we would like to co-create spaces, you can't necessarily do it without holding the hand or being in partnership with the local municipalities and other organizations that are in charge of those spaces. But our project committees often meet with city staff to ensure that our projects are viable and permitted through the normal processes. Not only that, but we've met with the mayor and many council members about our initiatives. These one-on-one meetings involve listening to their perspectives, problems, and ideas while offering what Strong Towns has to say about these things. In fact, 3 city council members in the city of Bloomington are actually dues-paying members of Strong Towns BloNo.
Cool. That's awesome. So it sounds like, I mean, the city has projects, or the municipality, I guess is probably a better word. The municipality has projects. Strong Towns has projects. And some of those you're doing independently and some you're collaborating on.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
That's very cool. So I'm going to ask you kind of a 2-part question.
Yeah.
First of all, do you have any current projects in the works that you'd like to share with our audience? And second of all, maybe what's kind of the maybe I want to say coolest project, but maybe most innovative project you've come about, where maybe a current place, like when I think of like Uptown Normal or even Bloomington, like something that's maybe decades or centuries old that was maybe intended for a certain purpose, that maybe between Strong Towns and the municipality has come up with like a maybe new and improved purpose that like has a special place in your heart.
Yeah, so we are a membership organization, so all our projects are really decided by the people who show up to our regular monthly meetings. But hopefully our next big project will be empowering residents to improve their own neighborhoods through one block at a time. And we call this the Renaissance Block Challenge grants. And really, it's a way to improve the quality of our neighborhoods without displacing residents. I'll kind of explain what our goals are here. We want to empower homeowners and people who live in our communities to reinvest in their own homes. We want to leverage matching grants funds to maximize private investments in our neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods that are you don't often see city investment in. And with this grant fund that we're going to be creating, we want to see the donor funds to go farther, right, because they're matching funds. Now, basically how this works is as a group on a single block, a group of neighbors will come together and apply for the grant together, okay? And it is exterior improvements for multiple homes on a block. So it could be painting a door, it could be redoing a deck, it could be doing plants, something that improves the quality of the house that you can see from the street. And the important aspect is that communal aspect, applying together, getting to know your neighbors, and really trying to do this. And that is the part where we are rebuilding the social capital, because many people don't really know their neighbors.
No, I was just thinking as you were talking, Noah, like even prior to COVID, I feel like there was more community within a neighborhood, and then people spent a whole lot of time inside their houses, and I'm not sure we've really fully gotten back out there.
We have not. Yeah, you laugh, but it is a societal issue. So basically, we want to incentivize neighbors to invest in their neighborhoods and not necessarily wait and save up and move somewhere else. Make these neighborhoods a neighborhood of choice for people to want to move into. And this actually is really good at combating the psychology of decline, right? It's real simple. The explanation is like you see an empty trash can just open on someone's yard, or you have a beater car parked out front, or their grass isn't mowed, right? You are less likely to take care of your place if your neighbors are less likely to take care of their places. And what this grant does is it kind of breaks that cycle of neighborhood decline, and boom, you're like, oh, wow, this neighborhood's really turning around. But we didn't displace anybody. In fact, we're empowering homeowners to make those changes. So that's the big program that we're working on for 2026, and we're working in conjunction with the city of Bloomington to find some blocks to take a look at, and working with some neighbors there.
How cool. What a cool project. I think, and then Toria's other question, whether you had like a meaningful project or something that really stuck with you, an innovative project. Is there anything you can share there?
Yeah. We are a relatively new organization. I will say that one of the things that we're super excited about, or that we've completed this year, was leveraging public art for pedestrian safety. So if you have walked downtown Bloomington since last May in 2025, between the public library and the history museum, you might have noticed some murals on the sidewalks. That was us.
Oh, they were so cool.
Yes.
They look great.
Yeah.
Those are temporary sidewalk murals to kind of have that pedestrian connection between the library and downtown, that farmers market area. Because when you think about it, right, it's not really that far of a walk, but because it is separated by Route 51, it is. People don't think, oh, I can just walk from downtown over there. And I live in that neighborhood over by Dimmitt's Grove, and I walk downtown all the time. But I have friends, I have people in my neighborhood who tend to drive, and we're trying to increase awareness for pedestrians, connect it, make it fun. One of my favorite things, actually, when we contracted an artist to do that, she did a circus theme to connect with Bloomington history, because along that route is actually the old YMCA building where the Bloomington Flyers were based out of, which is the trapeze artists. And on the opening day in 2025, we had a little scavenger hunt for all the kids. It's all these little circus animals, bunnies. We had elephants. We have tigers. We had trapeze artists. It was a really, really fun little walk. And we're working again with the city in 2026 to do a Route 66 theme one for the 100-year anniversary of the Mother Road.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So those are incremental things. That project, the paint only cost about $500 between the public library and downtown. Majority of the payment went to paying the artist fairly.
Of course.
So,
but that's a great point though, Noah, because a lot of these improvements that you're talking about that you've just discussed, painting, putting plants in, doing some of these things, there's probably more labor than expense of materials. So if we can find volunteers, if we can find people willing to, use their own human capital to get something done, like the possibilities are really endless. There's a lot of opportunity there.
And that's one of the things I've been really trying to highlight is the fact that you are a part of this community too. This is not a place that happens to you. You have the ability to co-create your own spaces, and that's one of the things that we have been trying to highlight at Strongtown's BloNo, especially with our neighborhood trash pickups, our neighborhood association liaison committee, where we're trying to reestablish neighborhood associations. One of the things that we worked with Dimmitt's Grove neighborhood is their signs. If you guys walk up and down the streets in Dimmitt's Grove, a lot of houses have these history signs. So I work with them in the capacity as a neighborhood resident, but we created a whole booklet for other neighborhoods around the community to take that and really regain their social capital. So White Place has been meeting now because of our organization.
How cool. All right, so it sounds like you could have multiple projects going at a time.
Multiple. There's a lot of things happening with us.
So as projects move out of the planning stage and into execution, how does Strongtown stay engaged?
Well, again, all of these projects are volunteer. So when we talk about the murals, the artist was contracted to do the design. She did the lines, but for volunteers, we showed up and it was a paint by number. It was very, very fun. We do trash pickups with our neighborhood groups and volunteers from our organization. We come help do those things with the neighborhood, the Renaissance Block Challenge grants. We're going to be working with neighborhood organizations to really leverage the power of community to get projects done. So we're always having things doing, stuff going on.
And how do people sign up for that? Like, how do they volunteer?
Yeah, so we are, in fact, a membership organization. We actually passed 50 dues-paying members. We actually got started in 2021 as a Facebook page, and we switched over to a 501c3 nonprofit in 2023. But we have a membership meeting every second Thursday of the month at 5:30, usually at Bloomington Public Library, but in the past we've had it at normal public library or in the December meeting, which is already passed by the time you guys will air this episode. We'll be in the Bloomington First Christian Church. But we have a website, strongtownsblono.com. You can email us, but we do our work through our committees. So volunteers, people come in and say, I want to do this. we empower them to become committee chairs and do things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that also tells our listeners how, if they're interested in being a dues-paying member of Strong Towns BloNo, it sounds like they go to the website and they can get signed up there.
Yeah, $10 initial dues, and then from there on out every year, it's based on how many hours you volunteer. If you volunteer more than 10 hours a year, it's free.
Hey, that's awesome.
What a deal.
Nothing's free anymore,
Yeah.
so that's amazing.
We can definitely add that all to our notes, too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Perfect. Anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners, Noah?
Yeah, we are not just about the built environment regarding neighborhoods. We're also about traffic safety. We're also about building social capital. We're also about informing residents of municipal issues. For example, we've held a municipal forum for the mayoral elections for Bloomington and Normal in conjunction with the NAACP. We asked a lot of local questions. We also do a lot of stuff with, I'm a high school teacher by day job, and we do a lot of volunteering work with youth in the community. So when our trash pickups happen, we often have the environmental club come in. Sometimes we have sororities and fraternities from ISU and Wesleyan come in, and that's super fun. Some other big projects that we're working on are there are really cool murals that you might see on roads in various parts of the country. You actually might have seen them over by ISU. We're trying to work with the engineering department of the city of Bloomington to try to have some of these lower stakes changing of the traffic patterns in some of these communities, these neighborhoods where you have a lot of pedestrians, and to slow down the traffic. So we have a lot of people who are involved in that end, where their whole thing is looking at maps and looking at data and showing these things. I think the big thing about Strong Towns is just changing your mindset of, I don't want to wait for like a $500,000 grant from IDOT to do something. I'm going to put some paint on the street, using that $500 in materials to do those murals. I think that is really reframing the conversation. I think the last thing I want to talk about is our efforts in revitalization around downtown. This past summer, we just completed a design charrette for the former Front and Center and the Elks Lodge buildings that are currently in the process of being torn down. Our big thing is creating a community and an economy that works for everyone. And one of the things that we suggested at our design envisioning charrette, which you can see on the website, are spaces where you can lower the bar for economic participation. So we talk about a permanent farmer's market. We're talking about stalls. We're talking about kitchens where you have, for example, the VFW, where you have pop-up chicken get started. Getting people into the door, lowering that bar to economic participation, that's super important for the healthy economies of just everywhere. And it's a lot better than having 25 McDonald's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
Less chains is better.
Maybe one last question, and something you said just then in your summary, Noah, made me think of it. If I don't have a background in engineering or in architecture or city planning, or I'm not a muralist or anything, I don't have a special skill, is there a place for me in Strong Towns BloNo?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like 95% of our members have no background in engineering or background in architecture or whatever. They're just people who care about their communities and want to do small things to improve it.
I think that wraps up our first episode of 2026. Noah, thank you so much for joining us.
For having me.
And sharing all the great work Strong Towns BloNo is doing.
And thank you to our listeners. In 2026, we're planning to continue to release new episodes on the second Sunday of each month. So be sure to find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Before we sign off, as always, thank you to the Illinois State University School of Communication for their use of studio and technical production and editing services.
And always go out and do some good and give back. Happy New Year, everyone.